Hi, welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am working on two separate hops. One is the Mad About Mini paper pads that is hosted each month on the third Saturday of the month, and I'm going to be working on that. I've got some paper pads here. We've got, I don't know if you all remember these quick strips from eons ago. 2006 is the date on that one. This is a Die Cuts with a View Indian Summer. It's adhesive cardstock. The adhesive on it is no longer any good. This one's 2009. A picture of my now 27-year-old daughter. This is from Webster's Pages. It is called the Park Drive Collection. And I pulled this out so I'd remember who it was from. But I've pulled out these papers here for this. And then I have some dies and some twine and some paint. And I have a punch and some alpha dies, some leaf dies, and a hello die. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and get started on this. Oh, I forgot the second hop. I'm also doing Off the Board with Pineapple Papers, and I'm going to post my inspiration up here for you. This is the pen that I chose, and it reminded me of this pattern paper that I found while I was unpacking my stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pause now, and we're going to get started. I'll be right back. Okay, first off, please don't have a heart attack when you see what I'm about to do. It's okay. Yes, I'm going to pour this paint, theoretically, right onto this pattern paper. I'm having all kinds of trouble getting it out. It's old paint that I purchased for a homeschool project. End up with it everywhere, all over my hands and everything. It's like that cap needs to come off and get cleaned out. But I try to unscrew it a couple of times. I can't budge it. So I stick my cuticle stick, which I use when I do paint splatters, down it a couple of times, and I get enough paint out. So initially I had considered doing a mat with white cardstock on this, and then I realized, oh, I'm not supposed to use but one sheet of 12 by 12 paper on my Mad About Mini paper pads hop layout. So let's do the next best thing. Let's add some acrylic paint and make a solid mat. And so I chose this light blue one. It's one that I would like to get out of my stash because, like I said, I purchased it for a homeschool project, not necessarily for scrapbooking. So I'm going to let that dry so it's set aside, and let's go to the next step. So aren't you glad I didn't make you sit and watch me die cut these flower bits out? Seriously though. So the first thing I'm doing is I am inking the edges with fossilized amber, and it's just kind of a really subtle inking. I chose a color that is very close to the color of my cardstock, and I'm only going to do a couple of the flowers here on camera because I don't want to bore you to tears watching me assemble these sunflowers. Now, these aren't really sunflowers. This is just a flower die, and I thought I would get close enough. And in the end, I think they look enough like sunflowers that it works. So I take a large one and then the small one, and I stack them, and then I just add a button, and then I'm going to flip up those little edges on here to add a little bit of dimension. Whoa, what's going on with my camera? That was weird. I didn't do that. So apparently I was having camera difficulties that I didn't realize I was having. So what I'm going to talk about next is I'm going to talk about how I built the pumpkins. I recorded this. Video is MIA. Don't know what happened to it. But what I did was I took my oval punch. I punched out 3 of each, 3 ovals, and then I put 2 together, glued them down, and then layered a third one on top in the middle. And you can kind of see that in that not so great photo that I just shared. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm gonna go ahead and start building this layout. Everything's dried, everything is assembled. You can see my cute little pumpkins there. I did ink the edges of the pumpkins, each oval with carved pumpkin. Sorry, for some reason that video just disappeared. That is so stinking strange. I've never had tech difficulties like that. So I'm using the Fun Foam to pop up my photo on the back of the layout. I've got a nice flat background there without a lot of pattern, so then I can add in these colors. So I hope that you can see the inspiration that I took from the pen that I shared at the beginning of the video. Anyway, I matted my photo of my daughter on a piece of the green and orange, peachy orange plaid that was in this little collection. And now I'm taking the 2 pieces of paper that I have left over from making pumpkins, and I'm using those to make some layering pieces behind the photo. I'm punching with this punch, and yes, I always punch upside down. I know it has a guide on the top side. Trust me, my left-handed brain, I can't. Nope, can't do it. I always mess it up every single time, so I just punch them upside down because then I get it right. So I'm going to put 2 pumpkins on the lower left-hand side of my layout bottom, and I'm going to put 2 on the lower right-hand side. And I'm going to layer up some of my cute little sunflowers that I made with my dies around the photo. I'm kind of happy with that, so now I'm going to start putting in the leaves. The leaves came from that Pink Fresh Studio die. It is actually one of my absolute favorite dies. I love, love, love this die. I use it all the time. And so I love that it worked really well for this particular set of embellishments. And I'm just going to continue layering up the leaves. Now I'm going to add my title. I cut my title out of the pattern paper as well. One of the ones from the pumpkins, I flipped it over and it had like a cream color on it. So I used that to cut out my title. And then the same with the word pumpkin. I used another one of the leftover bits from making the pumpkins, and I created the word pumpkin with it. And that pretty much puts my layout right where I would like it to be. All right, I got my layout completely finished. The only full-size sheet of paper that I used on this entire layout was this beautiful blue rose background. The rest either came from little cardstock paper pads that I've had forever. All of the pattern paper came from this collection, which is Park Drive by Webster Pages. It was made in, I don't know what year, it's old. And I used punches, I used dies, I used buttons, I used a couple of my labels, and it's all completely done. This is how I used to scrapbook when I first started out, because I didn't have a lot of product, I didn't have a fancy cutting machine, and I also didn't have any money, so I made a lot of my embellishments with punches. And when I got my first die cut machine with dies and stuff, one of the things that I don't know if I mentioned or not, when I create titles with dies and cardstock, I tend to double cut and stack them just to give a little bit of depth, kind of like what you would have with a set of thickers, phrases, or letters. So I want to thank you so much for coming to my channel today. Please make sure that you check out that playlist or the list of hoppers below. I think we have some Instagram participants as well. Make sure you check out everybody's videos and Instagram accounts. You'll be amazed at what people do with these paper pads that we all keep collecting. I swear I'm not going to buy any more. And then I do. And I got an order in the mail the other day that has been on Bankit at Scrapbook Generation for quite a while. The very first order in that order was in April. And because I knew I was moving, I just asked it to be held until the move was over. And plus some other things in there were pre-orders. But they sent me a free 6x8 paper pad. I'll take it. I like them, but I don't need any more. I need to use them a lot faster, which is why I joined this hop. So anyway, I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for helping me to build this channel. Without your help, I can't. I appreciate all of your likes and subscriptions. If you have any comments or questions about anything that I did on this layout, just drop them below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. See you later. Bye.